Hello, welcome to another episode of somewhere between a film and TV podcast. We are your host. I am Daniel Para.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
Great
Sorry.
job.
Sorry.
And
I was just thinking about what you said earlier, that's all.
What did I say earlier?
The fact that that you were mixing up our names and then I would be confused and then I was just laughing about that, but it didn't happen, so.
Okay, yeah, no, another time maybe, since you know the joke.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk this week about another release, the Halloween sequel. Which is sort of the second, third, depending on who you ask, really, because Halloween from 1978, I want to say, and then the...
Actually, it was 1979.
Was it really?
Oh, shoot, let me check. I don't know. I didn't think you were going to... I thought you were going to correct me or be like, oh...
Well, I don't want to get it wrong.
Well, I didn't expect to be on the spotlight like this. Okay, give me a second. No, you're right. You're right, like always. What's new? Okay, it's 1978.
Okay, I was going to say, while he's explaining that, but then the second sequel, which we'll get into sort of like how they abandoned some of the earlier ones, and the only ones that are definitively canon now are the Halloween 2018 one, and Halloween Kills, and whenever Halloween Ends comes out. And what we'll do, as per usual, is the first part of this will be spoiler-free, and then we'll get into spoilers, and... that'll be that. And if you don't know our approach, what we like to do is think about you're walking out of a movie, you want to talk about it with your friends, and you get a little off topic, but everything will be all right. Erwin, I want to ask you, what were your thoughts on the 1978 film and the 2018 film and just the Halloween series in general?
When I was first introduced to Miguel Myers, I was... honestly, like, it was like, I don't remember what like year, like time frame it was between like the late 70s and like around the 80s. Of course, like around the 80s, that's when like most like pop culture like movies like were coming out and everything. But when it came just to like horror movies, like a lot of movies like that stemmed from that time definitely like transcended into like even now, you know. And so, like, Halloween was definitely one of those movies that just, like, made a big impact and, like, carried on, like, through all these years. And so, the first time watching Halloween, I was it got me. Like, it definitely still holds up till this day in terms, not just, like, I guess, like, just the quality of it, but more so on, like, what like the scenes and when it came with just Michael, and then also like the soundtrack for sure.
Yeah, John Carpenter, just a legend, and still doing it. He did the score or co-wrote part of the score for this one even. And I'll preface this by saying my introduction to Halloween, actually, I was a kid, and it was Halloween 4. The Return of Michael Myers was the first one I'd ever seen, which that's not what you want to hear, I don't think. But I remember being like, oh, this is Michael Myers, and then watching it, and, you know, the later sequels are what they are. They're not great, but I have this kind of soft spot for the direct-to-DVD sort of horror movies. Not the Jason ones so much. I don't find those that great. I don't even find Friday the 13th. Like, I like Jason as one of the slashers, but... Mm-hmm. He's not my favorite one.
Yeah, he's not my favorite one. Honestly, I think my favorite... I would say Freddy. I love the concept of Freddy so much.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me that they haven't done anything with that character.
Yes.
Like, that's one of those few slashers... I mean, like, there's a sort of a tradition to, you know, they walk around, they don't say a lot, they kill people, that's it. But Freddy always... His concept was that, like, he had a mouth on him. Mm-hmm. And he liked to make jokes whenever he would kill people. And that dream concept is so... You can do so much with it today. Like, there's no limitation to visual effects, which is, like... It blows my mind they've never touched it. The closest we've gotten to that again are those, like, the 2 It movies, which are phenomenal. And
yes.
I think they nail Freddy Krueger without like actually, him being that character. And they even reference him in the second one, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a huge fan of the Halloween franchise. I think the first one is one of... It didn't invent the slasher genre or anything, but it did pioneer it. It is like, you go to that movie and you're like, this one is the one, this is the blueprint, this is what everyone strives to be. It is incredibly simple. It is like the whole story about how they got the William Shatner mask and they just painted it white and they were like, this is scary. And it is. It's a very... What they do in that movie is, since the holes are black, it looks like it is just... He's literally called the Shape. He's just an embodiment of this hulking man. And as the sequels go on, like most sequels, they get bigger, they get louder. And some of them, I like the approach. I don't know if you ever saw the Rob Zombie movies, but I actually find them kind of underrated. And they're trying to do something really different. They are very loud and very obnoxious, but they do it on purpose, like for a gratuitous effect.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you're on board with that or not is entirely like your own taste, Which, did you ever see them?
No, I don't think so. But I think it's like, I think whenever you told me about those type of movies, though, it kind of reminds me of like the Saw movies, which I'm not really a big fan of.
Yeah, which... Oh, I saw Spiral, by the way.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was a Saw movie, so...
Okay, well... like, I thought it was going to be something different, so...
No, it tried to do something different,
Uh-huh.
but at the end of the day, it was a Saw movie.
Oh, dang.
Getting back to this, though, I know, like, the general reception for the 2018 one was really good. I was a fan of it, like, kind of a big fan of it, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I love the 2018 one.
And my problems with it so much were... I don't want to say tone, but, like, some of the... It's funny that they went for a funnier route, but, of course, if you know anything, like, about them, it is co-written by, I want to say, David Gordon Green, and directed by him, and Danny McBride, which is like why whenever there's these weird interjections of these jokes, and some of them are very funny, but some of them you're like, it is really weird that that's in this movie, but I thought that kind of played towards its advantage, and bringing back Michael Myers, that movie, again, leans back into the 1978. It is very simple, and you sort of follow... They're taking, like, the Aliens approach with Jamie Lee Curtis's character, sort of, like, leaning into the, I am prepared for everything. I have this handled.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Did you like the, like... I know you said you were a fan of it, but did you like the scares, or did you enjoy Jamie Lee Curtis in the 2018 one?
I mean, yeah, I enjoyed all of it, even like how it went with like the humorous approach. But I felt like it, like you said, it played to its advantage just because in the aspect of, I mean, it's kind of hard to carry a movie, especially a horror movie. It's always hard when it comes to horror movies, just to, you can't be like, you can't have the audience like have fear throughout like your entire hour and a half, and right. So like, and you need those. Like those, how do you say it? Like, to move the story along. So, like, you need to have those scenes. And, like, so, in order for those scenes to be entertaining, sometimes it makes sense to have, like, jokes in them. But as long as they hit, like, I don't have no problems with it.
No, I agree with you. A tricky thing with horror movies in particular, in the slasher movies are where you find this the most. You need to either care about the characters enough that, like, you're like, there needs to be attention here. If I like these characters, then I will be worried about them up until they die. But, like, you go into it knowing that, so it kind of just depends on, like, what sort of fan you are of them. Mm-hmm. I thought the Fear Street movies earlier this year, like, three of them, honestly, all of them were, like, a couple of my favorite movies of the year. I thought each one homaged a different era of scary movies differently. The first one was like homaging Scream and 90s horror, like I Know What You Did Last Summer. The second one was...
What did I do?
What did what?
last summer.
What did you do last summer, Erwin? I know.
Wait, what? Nothing.
You?
It was during COVID. What?
You asked
It was a
me.
pandemic. Oh.
I know what you did last summer. Nothing.
I hate those type of titles when it comes to movies. Oh, what's another one where it's like when you just say it, they're like, "What?"
What if?
Oh my, that's not
What
a
if?
movie.
That's a show.
No, don't tell me the joke right now. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you? Oh,
You.
you.
I was like so confused. Like, what about me? I'd be like, "What's your favorite show?" You.
Okay.
Oh, someone's flirting. It's like, no, I'm talking about the show. Okay.
I'm literally not in episodic format. You gotta talk to me better than that.
Yeah, my life's a movie. Okay.
You're testing me.
I'm just testing
But-
the audio. Okay.
No, so the second one, getting back to it, the second one was homaging movies like this and Sleepaway Camp and Jason, Friday the 13th. And the second one, I think, might be my personal favorite. It does all of that just as well, even better than those two. Because like I said, in my personal opinion, Halloween is like the end-all, be-all of the early slasher movies, like the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal, Nightmare on Elm Street is the one I prefer.
Oh my god, yes.
But Wes Craven is like a whole other argument. I love him. And the third one is homaging like the current recent sort of trend that A24 has been doing with stuff like The Witch.
Mm.
But really getting into this, the reason why I bring that up is because it was funny like watching those, and it handles what Halloween does really well. And here, I'm going to say this by overall stating I liked this movie. I was reading reviews for it, and I was kind of surprised that this one is being received nowhere near as well as the 2018 one is. It is at like, not to like constantly, prove, you're like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes gave it this, which is not how Rotten Tomatoes works. It's an aggregate system. But it's at like 39% on there or something.
Whoa, really?
It is, yeah.
That's insane.
And I was like, okay, so with this one, I liked it. I have some very clear issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I did like this movie. How did you feel?
No, I felt the same way. Like I really liked this movie. I still like the 2018 one more than this one though. But like you said though, I have like a few problems with it. But overall, the soundtrack was great. Seeing the same characters again was like, great as well. But like, I don't know if you're like I don't know if you want to like just talk about like what about the movie itself.
Well,
like,
yeah, no, early before we get fully into it, because I was like, should we do a spoiler section for this? And then enough happened that I was like, yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
But I do want to say though, at the very beginning, and this is like in the marketing, I believe, so I'm pretty sure this is okay to state, the 1978, like the flashback to like whatever happens after the first movie looks amazing.
Oh my god, yes. Like it honestly felt like it was just cut from it.
No, exactly. Like
you
ever like see a classic movie in theaters and it still has that kind of grain?
Yes.
It looked exactly like that.
Yes.
I was like, enough to the point where you're like, this isn't footage from.
Yeah.
No, because that guy from Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, and I want to say, is it Kong Skull Island? One of the MonsterVerse movies.
Yeah.
Was in it.
So,
I was like,
that's such a two different movies right there.
I know. I love them both though. But I was like,
it's like the actor who's in Godzilla versus King Kong and The Fault in Our Stars. Like what?
Kong.
What monkey was in The Fault in Our Stars?
Kong.
Why do you?
You're acting like I'm wrong here.
Just keep going.
Okay. But no, that looked great. And then the classic segment. But then immediately, I agree with you. It's kind of weird. This is one of those situations where it reminded me of how I feel about, like, bringing this up again, actually, Godzilla, the 2014 one, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. I was like, okay, the second one, it's funny. Fan service with slasher movies is them killing people.
Yeah.
And there's actually some nods to, like, Halloween 3, which I really liked, but involving, like, masks and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was... And Halloween 2, part of this movie is set in a hospital, so much so that I was like, it's kind of weird that they're, like, making, sort of quasi-remaking Halloween 2, but not enough that it, like, was the same. I think it was just similar setting.
Yeah.
But kind of it transitioning out of that immediately, like, got into my problems with this is the 2018 one does this thing where, as much as I enjoyed that movie, part of my problem with it was that it is a little all over the place. This one is extremely all over the place. I don't know if that's how you felt about it.
No, I didn't felt that way, where it's just extremely like, all over the place. I would think it's just, I mean, I feel like I can talk about this. It's just, it suffers a lot, just, and just, like, not just, like, in this, but, like, just not just, like, in just the Halloween movies, but just, like, in horror, when it comes to, like, a franchise. That's all. And, right. And it's just, like, I guess, like, less of an impact, and it's just, like, I don't know. I guess, like, I'll probably just talk about it more, like, whenever we talk about it through spoilers and everything. Okay. About, like, certain scenes, but it's just, like, I don't know. But, like, I'll say this, though. Like, the parts that I liked a lot, though, is, like, it still has, like, the same effect it does whenever, like, even with, like, the first Halloween movie from 1978, where it was just, like, I felt like I did feel scared, you know? Like, through the scenes with, like, Michael Myers and just, like, all that. Like, they filmed that great. Because it's, like, of course, like, not a lot of horror movies nowadays, like, have that effect anymore. And it's crazy to think, like, even now, it's just, like, with so many movies with Michael Myers, like, it could still have that effect.
Yeah, the thing is here, and I forgot to finish my point. It is the middle one, which so you're like. I didn't know they were gonna make a third one until I looked it up right after. Really? I was just like, okay, that makes sense now. Because I was just like, are they really gonna make a third one? Because I really thought this one was gonna be like the last one from it, and so like I was like, oh, okay. And you're just like, well, that's a way to end it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
That's actually really funny to think about. If you saw a movie that you didn't know had a sequel and you're just...
Infinity War?
Oh, yeah, and you're just like, well...
Oh, they're all dead.
I'm going to move on with my life now, alright.
Okay. No big battle scene. No
right,
Captain America saying Avengers Assemble.
No, none of that. But like I said, I was like, how I felt about the 2014 Godzilla is that's like a masterful movie. I'm sorry. I know that like opinions on that are varied. That movie's incredible. But King of the Monsters does this thing where it really, really like lies heavily on fan service, and I will say it's a more fun and pleasing movie to watch and hear. This one has the better kills and the better I don't want to say tension, because the first one I do think works with that very well, but this one is like all in on that. It almost doesn't have a full story from beginning to end because it's concerned on showing you the most like brutal kills it has, and I think this is one of the more violent horror movies I've seen in a while, because the blood is excessive, and this is not me like commenting like, oh, I thought that was too much. I enjoy that personally. How did you feel?
No, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like I felt the same way as I did with the first one in a sense. Like also I felt the same way. We're just like coming out of it, just going like, that was really good, you know, like it. Like I'm just like surprised when it comes to horror movie, because you know how I feel about horror movies. Like it's so hard for me to feel like the director or even like the writers like give off like that tone that they always try to portray, when it comes to
Right.
horror, and so like watching the last one and like this one as well, like I definitely got like that horror effect from it. So like I was pleased by that, and I wish I really liked, but like at the end, I was just like when you're just like thinking about it more and more, it's just like okay, like movie on its own, and it's like will it hold like does it hold up by its like itself without being connected, kind of thing. Because I always like to think about that where it's like when it comes to like movies and franchises that
Right.
like I like to think about like okay the first one can it hold on its own, you know, like of course they're gonna reference like other things in this and that, but like can it hold on its own, and which I like to think like the 2018 one it could still hold on its own, which I like. And the second one I feel like it relies so much on just like trying to continue something like forcefully in a sense, but it makes sense though because if they're trying to make another one then you're gonna have to do that, and then which makes like writing like has some like writing constraints on it. So
No, I agree with you. It's a tricky balance because
yeah,
some like you want something to stand on its own, but
yeah,
whenever something's a part of a franchise or a part of like sequels of any sort, I think what works is you're like, okay, can I even okay, so say for example, I don't know, I didn't see Fast and Furious 1 through 4. Can I go into 5 and understand what's going on? And my personal answer is yes,
yes,
because they reintroduce everybody in that one, and then it has a definitive ending. So, but whenever a movie wants to make the choice to end on a cliffhanger for the next one, that gets more into like how well earned was it, you know?
mm-hmm.
So, and it's funny because you can tell that we're like both big MCU fans, and
No, we're
like for
not.
example,
I hate the MCU.
he does. It's true.
Yes, I
I'm
mean
a
I haven't
huge
seen any. I haven't seen it. That's how much I hate about the MCU.
Everyone knows that if you haven't seen something, you hate it.
Yeah, you have to put your opinion there first before you've seen anything. So
Oh yeah, no, I gotta get my opinion from the internet really quick. I will be back in like 10 minutes.
yeah,
This is not a commentary on anybody. Um,
we're not calling out anybody, okay?
we're, we're commenting on us.
Exactly. We're not commenting on the 5 people that we always say.
Forgot where I was going with that. But I will say another one of my issues, like I really don't want to harp on this movie because I did like it, but it's just there were things in it that I was like, really? Like I think you can say this. Jamie Lee Curtis is not in this movie enough.
Oh my god. Yes.
She was the anchor of the 2018 one. Like she is the central lead of it. And
But like she made that. But she made like that movie better though because it's like, I guess because it's also because like they try to make it. I guess when we try to get into the spoilers, I don't want to say anything else besides like because I really just want to talk about it more in our spoiler section.
okay. Yeah,
But
it's just no, sorry. Go ahead.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say like it was just yeah like it's what you said that like she was in a lot in the first one, which then you saw like them butt with one another, and with this one like you get less of her, so it's just like all that tension goes to like something else.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of saying I was like I didn't mind that this movie was all over the place because you follow these people around, you know, and then they die and then it moves on. Like a lot of horror movies do this. But since there's no real central lead, you could argue that maybe it's Michael Myers, but then you're kind of like following this person around that doesn't say anything ever.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to say that becomes an issue. It's definitely interesting, but then it kind of gives you this like this movie for me I didn't feel had a third act 3 act structure or anything, which is also okay. Not every movie needs to do that. Like this is structured exactly like John Wick 2 and 3 were, or 1 through 3 honestly. They all take place like seconds after each other when they end, which is a funny comparison to think about, but that's like what I thought of whenever I was watching it like at the beginning, and I was like I really would have benefited from having seen the 2018 one right before I saw this,
Oh yeah.
because that's what I done with Spectre and No Time to Die, and those No Time to Die starts pretty much immediately after Spectre does.
Then it's like 50 years later. You're like, whoa.
I know. 50. I'm James Bond.
Shake, not stir.
Was that an old man?
I don't know. Oh, is that bad, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I think your impressions are the best. You're okay.
I don't like your reviews.
That's rude. It's like we have the same opinion. I think your opinion sucks, man. But no, before we get our like final thoughts and then we get into it, I like this movie. I will say though, I know it's streaming on Peacock, I believe. Which Jesus, there are so many streaming services.
Peacock.
Did you know Michael Myers is 6'7"?
I believe you.
Well, I read something that was like, this dude picked up a knife when he could be dunking on
oh, you're serious? Okay, I'm sorry, guys. So, listen. So, Daniel and I had a conversation earlier just about, like, heights when it came to actors and everything. And at first, I thought, like, certain actors were, like, certain heights. And then Daniel's like, no, they're this height. And then I would ask Siri, and then they would be the height that Daniel said every single time. And I was like, oh, my God, like, that's crazy. And then, like, I was just joking saying, like, an actor who's, like, below average height and say, well, I would say, you would say he's 6 foot and I would believe you.
Well, it's because, like, consistently I look up heights just for fun because I'm like, how tall are they? Because sometimes, I don't know. Like, I wanted to look up Daniel Craig's height because I was like...
He's 5'11".
Like is he really?
I don't know.
Oh,
hey, Siri.
Well,
hey, Siri. How tall is Daniel Craig?
5'8".
Daniel Craig is 5 feet 10 inches tall.
Oh.
Damn. Okay.
He seems taller.
Thank you, Siri. But getting back to it, I enjoy this movie overall, and what I was saying about Peacock is if I highly recommend seeing this in a theater. I think movies like this are meant for that. Like that experience, because I mean, of course you could get scared at home, but I thought that this worked well enough. I was like, I think this should be seen this way. And if I'm giving a score out of 5, I will say, I was like, is this one I'll watch every year? Like, that's how I determine, because I like to watch horror movies every October. I was like, I think this would personally enter I would love to watch the 78, then 2018, and then this one right after each other and see how that experience goes.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That'd be really
I was
nice.
like, while the 2018 one is a better crafted movie, this one does have, like, I don't want to say scares, but it does have the better kills, in my opinion. It's just not, like, a better movie overall. But I still quite enjoyed it. I would give it 3.5 out of 5. Is my personal opinion, which is, like, it's funny getting into rating systems because you're like, you thought Venom was okay, but you gave that 3.5 out of 5. I'm not going to try and figure that out. I'm just not. But, Erwin, go ahead and give your final thoughts.
No, I think I would give it a 3. 3.5.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
3. Yeah, I think I would just give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it as well. It's just, I don't know, when it comes to horror movies, like, it really needs to go above a little bit more. That's all.
Like, be more.
Yeah. Especially, I think it's just because it's the sequel one. That's all. But I give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. Well, if you guys don't want to listen to spoilers, thank you so much for listening. You can go ahead and follow us, and please tell us what you think. We really want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of...
No, we don't.
Oh, I really want to hear
I don't
your
need
thoughts.
I don't need to hear anybody else's opinion but Daniel's.
And
That's it.
Erwin doesn't care. So you can go ahead and follow us, or follow me at Para323Para, and Erwin, go ahead and say yours.
At Erwin_Trejo. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. I'm starting to use more Twitter, guys.
And like I said, thank you guys so much for listening. We are going to go ahead and get into the spoiler section. So...
Mikael Myers dies. And Freddy shows up at the very end.
How awesome would that be? I would come on the floor.
Why would you go to the floor?
I gotta get down.
I'm stuck, guys.
That takes time to do.
All right, guys. Look, Freddy doesn't show up. Okay.
No, he doesn't. Erwin's lying. He's a big liar.
Okay. Whoa. Hold up. I'm sitting down. First off. Secondly, I'm not. Okay. Okay. I was lying. Okay. Either way.
What I wanted to get into, like that, I wanted to bring up is I actually really liked Judy Greer in this, and then in the last scene, I was like, I didn't really realize how much I cared about her character until she died.
Well, did she though? Because I noticed her eye like twitch. But like, why would Michael leave her alive? So then that's where I'm like, it messes with me. So which I need to see that again, like the last scene, if I saw her eye twitch or not.
No, yeah.
But like, I get what you mean because I felt the same way. Where I was just like, whoa, Judy Greer's like doing more in this movie. And then like, I didn't really care until like till the very end, and I'm just like, oh crap,
That's what I was saying. I was like, I would have majorly benefited from having seen the 2018 one like right before this because it literally it just carries over.
No, it does.
And her boyfriend that I like thought died in the last one because I hadn't seen it. I haven't watched this movie since last year.
Yeah.
He's like still wearing the Halloween costume that they were like wearing.
Yeah.
And, I kept thinking, oh right, that happened. And with the family and stuff, like when she died, I guess it's just the daughter at the moment. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis, but the thing about this movie was a lot of the marketing, if you watch the trailers, which trailers can be misleading, I know, so you never want to like go into it thinking that.
Yes.
But Jamie Lee Curtis is in a lot of that trailer.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
I was like, it's not like she's not in it a ton, but she just doesn't get a lot to do.
No, yeah.
Which,
it's like she sounds like her character in that movie reminded me of just like us, like the audience, saying like what we would say, and like what we would want to do as well. Yeah. Because like, I guess like one of the reasons why I just like this second one, like it suffers from like that whole franchise thing, where it's just like at the very end, right? And so like whenever her like Jamie Lee Curtis' character is talking about Michael Myers, right? Saying like, oh, the more he kills, the more powerful he becomes, and it's just like they're making him into like this like godlike entity, where it's like God versus man, and then it just makes you think like, well, when in terms of God versus man, like of course you're gonna root for man, right? But like, how does man beat someone who's been coming back, coming back again and again and again, and like you see him like try to get. You see him get shot. You see him get stabbed multiple times, and he's still like going, and it makes you
shot a lot.
Yes, and like stabbed, and you just make and like literally and like the whole town, let's say, right, was ganging up on him, right?
Right.
You said you could take him.
I could take him.
Take him where? To a date? Because Daniel.
Ooh, Michael.
No, you said it wrong. You Miguel Myers.
Oh, we haven't even gotten into how this ties back into Austin Powers, but we'll get there.
But like, I think that's what like it's kind of hard to like, I guess like care now about the characters now because like now it's like now I'm rooting for Michael to kill them because it's like I always forget like also. When it comes to the characters making stupid decisions, But like
this one
makes me mad because it's like, what was it? Like the son and the father. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I'm like, why are you going in by yourself? Like, what are you doing? And then I was just like, you guys are so dumb.
I enjoy that for as violent as this movie wants to get. They don't show that death for some reason.
Yeah,
but. Which, I mean, I like the, like, end visual, where, like, I mean, you know what Michael's been doing the whole time. It's not like you need to see that one.
Yeah, I agree.
When it comes to horror movies like this, though, you get into the argument of, like, okay, there's a give and take here of characters acting stupid and you, like, wanting them to die. You're kind of like, okay, like, for example, there's a scene that I thought was hilarious, but it's, like, funny on purpose. Is where this woman, she's the one that's dressed as a nurse. Yes. She gets out of the car while Michael's on top of the car.
Yeah.
And then walks back into the car and he slams it and she shoots herself. And I thought that was like amazing.
That was a good one. I was like, okay, I like that.
I thought that was incredibly clever, but it was
Yes.
clever at the expense of the character being really stupid.
Yes.
And that's when like you get into the argument of like I understand that it's hard to do with people getting themselves into situations because like dude, just walk away. Like
No,
somebody-
yes. Because, like,
Somebody-
you don't see Michael running. You never do, right?
Right.
You see him, like, just walk. Walk fast, if anything. And so, like, you can literally, I'll just outrun him. You can literally run in a circle and you'll be fine. Because he's not, like, throwing things at you or anything. He needs to be up close to you in order for you to hurt you and all that. But, like, I guess, like, the thing it suffers a lot, though, also is just, like, of course, like, story and just, like, the plot and, like, how you're going to continue from one point to another. But, like, also it's just, like, that story, or, like, just, like, a franchise aspect, because it's, like, I guess, like, I could see it where, like, this could have been, like, the last one, just due to the fact of, like, the town going against him.
Yeah, which...
You know?
We haven't even gotten to... This movie's making a commentary, like, actually trying to make, like, a message about something, which, I mean, I was surprised by. Usually with these, it's a commentary on, like, something really simple, like you said, like, man versus nature. Michael Myers is the embodiment of evil. There's a line in it's either the 1978 one or the 2018 one where they were like that he's no man, he's just evil.
Yeah.
Like the embodiment of it. And that
I feel like they say it in every movie.
That line is still brilliant though, because it's always stuck with me, and it's a perfect explanation for him. But here, they're like, oh yeah, the more you beat the shit out of me, the more I grow stronger. He's like,
yeah, and I'm just like, who is this guy? He's an X-Men.
He's like an anime like antagonist. Or
Oh my
something.
god,
Yeah.
yes.
Which I want to see where they go with that before I say anything. Honestly, like in this movie alone, them saying that, I was like, that's a interesting thing to say. That's an interesting thing to put out there, because you're sort of like, okay, so.
But he's killed so many, though. That's the thing. And so then it makes you think, like, okay, if he gets stronger due to, like, killing so many, then, like, what makes you think, like, anyone can? You know?
And then it starts to kind of, like, lose stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, it makes you think, like, okay, that means I have to see Jamie Lee Curtis do something about it. Because she's the main one, you know? And so, like, when I see every other character do anything, they're just like, oh, I expect them to die. Or I don't expect them to do anything. You know?
I know. Like,
so,
because, like I said, it's hard with these because some of the slasher movies attempt to make you care about the characters. Some are just sort of like, well, these people are here to die. I think the Scream movies are brilliant, and you care about all of the main characters in that. But here, you care about Laurie. And I actually, like I said, I didn't realize that I liked Judy Greer a lot in these until they imply that she's dead. And I was like, oh, I actually do care about her. And I was like, that sucks.
No, yeah.
It's the third one, and it's just, although it does give reason for Jamie Lee Curtis to be upset by the third one, because they show her face, and it almost felt like they were implying that she knew what was happening, but there's like literally no way.
What else like, I'm trying to remember what else it was that I just didn't. I did like the fact that they try to like talk about more about Michael's past and like what drives him. I did like that. I also liked how the fact they never show what he looks like. I always liked that.
I agree. I mean, like, because you always see the shadow or you see like part of his face, but it's never. I think it's a smart move to never show his eyes necessarily.
Yes.
Because, like I said, it's one of those things where it displays the lack of humanity he has.
Yes.
And I keep saying this, the kills in this are amazing. Like, they are legitimately. There's one that I love where it's kind of early on, where he's hiding in the shadows and this woman's messing with a drone. And it's the build-up specifically where he breaks the light and then he like shoves it into her throat. But like the build-up to that scene is amazing. It's like the payoff that really sells it. And then I
like the old guy dying. No, I don't know why I thought that was really funny. Because I forgot what did his wife say? His wife said something where it's just like, why don't you do this or that? And he's like, I'm not, and like cursing that. But like, it was supposed to be like a funny moment, and then he dies. But then
Oh yeah,
I thought it was really
I know.
funny.
I know what you're talking about. This one, I think the humor
Mhm.
like meshes better because like the jokes sell it because of course the characters in this are kind of stupid, but some of them do say things where you're like, of course you would say that. Yeah, obviously you would say that.
Yeah.
Like there's a line where the one of the ladies is like, why on earth would I go to the car or something like that? And it's like a red herring though because it's actually the old Danny DeVito looking guy, which looks nothing like Michael Myers. I didn't understand.
Oh yeah.
what they were trying to say there.
I mean, but it goes to show though. I guess we're just talking about like how fearful anybody can be, you know. Because they were just talking about like the whole like story and everything in that bar, right? And everyone was like, into it, and so like
yeah.
And then she also saw the whole thing on the news, so I could see why, glimpse and everything. Yeah, because it didn't make sense. Like that can't be Michael in there. It's like Michael would have just killed her right then and there, and like Michael doesn't really hide like that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Michael. Like we talked. I know how he kills.
How does he do it? Why does he do it?
Why does he do it? Yeah, he's just evil, man. He's just evil.
He just likes hanging out his sister's window and just staring at them.
Yes, basically.
And
that's all he wants to do. At the end of the day,
you suck.
Like I'm gonna kill everybody until I get to my house and just stand in the window. That's it. And like, just imagine that's all he does.
I can't believe that, man. Like, honestly, all that guy wants to do is he just wants to chill and hang out the window, man. And everybody's like, "Ooh, I'm so scared of you, Michael." and don't chase me, Michael. And
where's that from?
It's not from anything.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Oh.
I think. But no, it's funny though, cause like that scene where they're all beating the shit out of him, and then like she's like doing the narration. I was like, I have no idea how he's gonna get out of this, but I just know he's going to. I was like,
yeah, that's how I felt too, cause I was just like,
yeah,
like it just sucked. It really did, cause it felt like at one moment, it felt like a second where it's just like, okay, like it seemed like everyone got together, in that, but like now it's just like, but I guess like because I didn't know there was gonna be a third one until like right after, and so like when everything happened, I was just like, oh okay, like clearly like he was gonna live and everything.
That's why I thought it was funny you thought this was the last one, because I was like, I went into this one thinking it was the last one. The movie doesn't end; it just stops. It's just over.
Yeah, that's how it felt. Like it just felt like it was gonna be over, and then it just kept going. That's how it felt to me, where it was just like the whole like like the town ganging up on him, and I was like, okay, like this is where it's gonna stop and end, And
Well,
so, when it didn't, and then it kept going. I was just like, what the hell? Like at that point, I'm just like, you know what? I don't care about like all the human characters anymore. I care about just Michael just killing.
Yeah,
and so like I just wonder how like the third one's gonna be, because that's how I feel now. And so like it's gonna be hard for me to believe like I guess like the ending to Michael,
Yeah, but them like making the choice that them saying, "Oh, he never really cared about you, Lori." I was like, that is a choice for sure, because
oh yeah,
what is their tension between each other then? I was like, I suppose now the tension is that Lori will be mad at Michael because of him killing Judy Greer's character, which is like the natural way to go with that.
Yeah.
Which is like part of what I found so brilliant at the end of the second one, the 2018 one,
Mm-hmm.
where the scene from this 1978 one is recreated where Michael falls out of the or it's Jamie Lee Curtis that falls out of the window, and then Michael's like, "Where'd she go?" Like, that dynamic in that scene just being inverted is great, and this is still trying to continue that, I think. It's just weird because since this movie's paced like it very much is paced like the second act of a really, really long movie. Enough to where you're like, all right, I thought this was good, it was solid, but what was the story? Like if you were to try and explain, you're like, what was this one about? You'd be like, I'd be kind of stuck for a while.
No, yeah, I agree.
It was just interesting because I saw it with some people, and I think the reaction to it was kind of mixed. I think they were more frustrated by the fact that the characters were stupid, which of course is like that's the natural thing to happen here.
I mean, yeah, that happens in like literally like all horror movies. So I can't. I'm not really complaining about that, but like when it happens, you're just like, oh, like, dang.
Yeah, which like I think my view on that is because that's an entire argument is that if the tension in that scene is solid and it because like if you're a person and you're scared you're not going to make the smartest choice all the time, which I think is like a realistic thing. Does this movie exist in reality? No, not really. Michael Myers is literally a supernatural human being now. I have no idea how strong he is either. There's like a
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense a lot.
I don't know either, but that what
I don't know. I was gonna say like he's like what 20 in the first one, like the very first one, 78, and then like 40 years later, he's like literally in his like mid 60s.
yeah.
And you're like, what? It's like strength of a lion or something, and you're just like, what?
If I think that like the actor, which I really should have looked at him before, like this is very talented physical acting. He moves very imposing, and
Anyone
I
can
think
move like that. What are you talking about? His name
you do
is
it?
James Jude Courtney.
Oh, okay. James Jude Courtney
Yes.
is an amazing physical actor, and I think it's interesting though because like I said, if you ever saw the Rob Zombie ones, I don't know how huge they got the guy for that to be, but he's just gigantic. He looks just imposing, and this one, I think it's more about the physicality of the role, like moving the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's a scene I was like, this movie's weird, like sense of humor is kind of mean spirited. Is it gonna do what I think it's gonna do? And there's a scene where he's walking down the stairs, and the boyfriend's head is like stuck in the stairwell thing.
Oh yes.
And I was like, please kill him while you're walking down the stairs.
Yes.
And he does it, and I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that's
like,
exactly.
It's because it's like that point. At that point, you're just like, I want like Michael to kill now more than ever, you know. And like now it's just like on the aspect of how creative can he be.
That's why I was like, with these, if they want to go for that, if they want to get creative with how they're killing people, then yeah, go ahead. I like I said, I'm kind of soft.
But do you think like if they go more creative and like in that route, it'd be more like not cartoonish, but like more of like a joke than it would be scary. You know.
That's how I've.
Because that's how I feel about Saw, where it's like because like how their type of like horror is like just showing so much gore, which I mean I have like no problem with, but like it's just the aspect of like it's not scary. It's less scary and just more like, oh, here's a bunch of goop, you know.
I was gonna say my opinion on the Saw movies is that I enjoy them personally. Those are more like some of them are flat out not good, but I enjoy them in the like oh this is fun. The first one I will say by James Wan legitimately very good. I think that movie is great, but it gets lumped in with the rest of these because it started that genre and it's kind of a whole problem unto itself, but. Some of these I enjoy, like 3 I thought was good. The new one I liked and was trying to do something different. It's weird because Chris Rock is telling jokes and the movie's funnier than the other ones because he is doing that. And with those though, they don't try and have tension. Like the first one does. That's why I think it works so well because there are like 2 or 3 characters total in that movie. And here, I think as long as the setup is the most important part for me. I think you can completely fumble a scare if the payoff isn't great. Like
H2O. Sorry. There was no water. There was no water in this movie.
Michael Myers is resistant to water. He's invincible. Like literally is just invincible. But I don't know. Like I said, like as long as these movies keep doing that thing with like the tension, someone who does it so well is James Wan. Still, like with The Conjuring, the 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I saw 3. I liked it, but the thing about 3 was that you can tell when someone who doesn't do the setup for scares like that is gone. You can kind of feel it
Mm-hmm.
because he liked to play with his audience a lot, and here I think that that's done too. And like I said, I was like, as long as they keep doing that, and the kills, I don't need to be bloody to be scary. It's a benefit that they are, because that's kind of like a fun factor to it.
No, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Sorry, I'm right now. I'm looking at the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Oh, are you looking at how big he is?
Yeah, he's huge. Shit.
The titular Halloween, the man Halloween.
No. I mean, his name is Maine. Is it Maine or Man?
Man.
Tyler Mann.
Oh, the actor.
Yeah.
You tell me.
I'm asking you.
You're looking it up, not me.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
Tyler Mann, let's go with that.
Tyler Mann. Either way,
Okay.
I'll say this about the second one. I did enjoy it though. At the end of the day, like it's definitely like a horror movie you need to see in theaters regardless, because it's so rare to see good ones nowadays, and this one's definitely a good one. So I would definitely just watch it in theaters. But I still like the 2018 one more than this one, just by a little bit more. And that's only because like the 2018 one, I can see myself just watching it on its own, you know. And I think it's also because of like Laurie, as well, being in it so much, and like you actually root for her character, you know, and you root for that, you know. And then while the second one, it's just like you try to root for the humans, and then it's just like you're so like disappointed and let down to the point where like at the very end, but like it only happens at the very end. If it happened in the beginning where it's like you're rooting for Michael, then like I could probably like this one more. But it's just the fact like it just switches so late for me, and me thinking that I thought it was gonna be the last one didn't help as well, I guess. But and then it's just like it just felt so long, you know, like it just felt like it kept going, kind of thing, like you said.
No, it's weird that this movie's an hour 45, but since it has no structure at all, I was kind of like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like I don't know when this is gonna end.
Yeah. I was no, it wasn't this. It was Spiral the other day where I was like, there's a song. You know how I'm a big fan of Venom by Eminem. They made each other.
Ew. Why? Okay, continue. What were?
I didn't say anything, but like that song has like an end credits song that's a fucking banger. Venom rocks as a song. It's,
wait, what are you talking about?
But that had Spiral had a post credit scene. Like, you know how the Saw theme, you know, I know you're not like the biggest fan, but you know how Saw has like a really like you know the theme from it.
I think so.
They had a rap over it.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish this one had one. But just rapping about Michael Myers, I think they should bring that back. That's a great fad.
No, they should have like a James Bond kind of theme.
Like they do the intro and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, one of the Jason movies does that actually. The James Bond intro thing.
Oh my god.
He like throws his machete at the thing, and then it turns into the James Bond. James Gunn. That's a director. Gun barrel. This is a really weird homage. Alright, that pretty much wraps this up, unless you have any final thoughts, Erwin.
No, my thoughts are final.
We both enjoyed it, we both had our issues, but we both recommend seeing it in a theater if you end up listening to this whole thing and you haven't seen it yet, which, if you don't mind spoilers, then hey, thank you for listening to the whole thing. And once again...
no, you shouldn't listen to this part if you haven't seen it. Thanks.
You can't just say that now.
Okay, I just did.
Alright. Okay. Well, wrapping this up again, thank you guys so much.
What if
listening.
you listened to the second part to our podcast without seeing the movie? Oh wait, you did. So, I don't know. Never mind.
Halloween Kills? Did I never say Halloween Kills?
Oh, that's how it's pronounced.
This movie's called
Halloween-
Halloween Kills.
Halloween 2, Revenge of the Boogaloo 2. Kills.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end this here, guys. Thank
Okay.
you once again so much for listening. You can follow us on social media. I am at Para323Para, and you are.
And I am Erwin at Erwin Trejo. Wait, Erwin
He is-
underscore Trejo.
He is at Erwin_Trejo. And up next, we have a What If review for you guys. What if we reviewed the show? Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.